Hey guys, so I'm Kyle with Red Fox Arms, and today I'm going to show you how to install our replacement SKS and AK sight posts. So there's a couple different ways to do this. One, if you have the right tools, maybe you've bought our Glock sights before and you went and got a depth micrometer, well then you're going to be able to get pretty close again by using that on this. If not, not a big deal. Just go about as you normally would, old one out, new one in, and then you just got to work at it. When you go to zero, you'll be farther off. You can try to laser bore it. You'll get somewhat close, but you'll have to go about it your normal way. Now I'm going to show you the way with the depth mic, and obviously if you don't have a depth mic, you can just go about it as you would in the past, where you just skip the depth mic part of this. So let's get started. So I have the bolt lock to the rear, empty magazine, empty chamber. Now make sure it's unloaded, obviously, and it's going to be super critical because you're going to be working right around the muzzle up here. So what I've got is I've got the C-clamp shaped SKS AK front sight tool, and I've taken the threaded part out to use to remove the front sight. I've got our new orange color sight post. I've got some thread locker that was laying around. We don't supply that at this time, just mostly for shipping and cost reasons. People kind of don't want to pay $14 for a little screw, basically, and they don't want to have it cost more also for shipping because anything liquid can't go through the post office. So we also have our depth mic. If you've watched our Glock sight install video, you kind of get how we use this. We use this a lot. This is obviously making sights. We have to take sights on and off all the time, and I'll tell you how much faith I have in these methods using a depth mic. I take this thing out in the woods probably this Sunday, and I won't have a chance to shoot it unless something happens. So that's how comfortable I am with this method. We're all about precision here at Red Fox. So what you'll do, you'll back the thimble off a little bit, and through the hole in the top of the ears, I guess, would be on an AR. Just go ahead and you're going to measure down through it. So you're going to set the depth mic flat. And you got to use 2 fingers to hold it there. I know I'm kind of blocking it with my hand. And then you're going to have to measure to the top of the post. There's just no other way to do this without blocking it, guys. I'm sorry. So make sure you're straight. And I got 270 is my number. So that's how far it is from the very top of this shield to the top of the sight post. So we're going to take our front sight tool and we're just going to unscrew that old one. While we're on this step, I should mention this only fits a 6mm by 3/4 millimeter windage drum. So fish it out without dropping it. There's our old one. That's a red colored post. That is the first one. It's been in there for a while, so obviously they've held up well. It's a 3-year-old post, I think. All right. Now the fun part, what we got to do. And this is where it's a little challenging trying to put the new one in because they're meant to be a tight fit, and now you've got to juggle it while on top of a tool. So I'm going to take my thread locker, put a little bit on the edges here. Just keeping them threaded. Cap back on. All right. Now, at the bottom where there's no thread locker, align the tool with the flats. And I won't be able to show you this too close. This is a general install video, but I gotta turn it toward me in order to see the windage drum. So you're gonna fish it on in there and start. And it might be tight and it might take you pushing in for it to start, because that slot in the middle of post is what keeps this thing from rotating under recoil. So getting them started is the hardest part. They're meant to be a tight fit. I've had people get a little freaked out because it was such a tight fit. Even if you see it taking the anodizing off, or even if it curls aluminum chip, don't be freaked out. You just got to get started. So I finally got it started. It takes a little pressure, and they're meant to be tight, guys. That is what keeps it from moving on you. So now I'm going to wiggle my tool off and get a rough idea where we're at with the depth mic. So back it off. Got 177, so we got to go in 100 thou. So 3/4 millimeter is about 30 thousandths. So I'm going to go about 3. We'll do 3 turns and see where we're at. So what I did there is I could figure out how much it's going to move down per rotation by saying, okay, 1 turn is about 0.040, 40 thousandths. So 3/4 of that is easy. It's 30 thousandths. So if I need 100, almost, 3 turns is about 90. Back on there, keep an eye on it. I'm going to count. Half, 1, half, 2, half, 3 is about there. Let's see what we get. Yeah. So I got 264. I need 6 thousandths. So carefully, my front side tool back in, trying to mar it up too bad. Give her a little bit. 6 thousandths, you're gonna have a hard time mathing out how many turns you need, because it's gonna become such a minute amount. Quarter turn is 10, so 1/8 of a turn. Check it again. And this is where, just like the Glock sights, you're going to spend a little time. If you do this carefully and correctly, you will get really close. Okay. Didn't go as far as I'd like it to. And I'm just trying to creep up on it here. They stay a little tighter because they're aluminum if you don't have to go back up. So if you're doing this without a depth mic, that's okay. What you're going to want to do is just go ahead and start it with it high. So you'll crank it down as you go. And that's obviously safer if you're at a range, because you'll be throwing around in the dirt instead of over a berm into God knows where. You'll be impacting way low with a taller front. So, you need to be at this a little bit longer. Just going to go in small increments here until I get it. And I got 368. So that's it. That's how you do that. It's simple. Hardest part is getting the thread started. That slot in the middle is, it's pried open a little bit, and it's meant to be that way. That's even on an OEM steel sight. That spring tension from having that thing pried open and that slot in the middle, it can compress, and it's got a little bit of like spring tension on it that holds it against the outside, so that under recoil the thing doesn't just start rotating and working its way whichever way it wants to go, usually out. And the Loctite or thread locker, blue thread locker, also helps with that. That's really insurance. You don't need the blue thread locker. If you if you do it this way, you realistically don't need blue thread locker. That red one that I took out did not have any thread locker on it. So they run fine without them, and we recommend thread locker. But if you're the other way, where you just kind of screw it in, eyeball it, what I would tell you to do is, like I said, leave it high so that rounds will impact low, and that way you can tighten it a little bit as you go and creep up on it. And the thread locker will be, it'll be more forgiving for you. You can still move blue thread locker with a wrench, so, but it also won't make it less likely to back out on you in the future. So that's how we do it here. We use measuring tools a lot for our installs, but as I said in the Glock video, you can get, this isn't a Harbor Freight one, but you can get a Harbor Freight one for around 25 bucks. You can probably find them for maybe even as low as 15 if you really just got on eBay or something, got a cheap used Chinese one or something. You don't need it to actually even measure correctly and be on. You just need it to make sure in the Glock, say it gets to the Glock size, that the two sides are the same. And in this case, you just need to make it, put this in the same spot as the other one. So really, even an old, crappy looking death mic would get the job done here. They are handy tools, and if you do a lot of sight installs on anything, especially handguns, they make it a lot easier. In this case, as of right now, September 2020, ammo is hard to find, so not wasting rounds is a thing right now. So hope that helps you guys, and hope you enjoy your sights, and thanks for watching.